Lebanon's health ministry says 6 people have died in an Israeli airstrike targeting a Hezbollah commander in Beirut. 15 others were also injured. The attack dealt another blow to the Iran-backed group, which has faced several attacks in the past week. Over 550 people have been killed, including 50 children, since Monday. Israel struck the Hezbollah-controlled area in the Lebanese capital for a second consecutive day, Hezbollah announcing it had fired rockets into northern Israel earlier on Tuesday. Let's get the latest now on the situation on the ground, and we're joined by Voice of America correspondent Jacob Russell, who is in Lebanon for us. Jacob, good evening to you, and thank you for your time. Paint a picture of what the situation looks like in Lebanon.
The situation in Lebanon really is quite desperate at the moment, especially in the south of the country. The IDF's aerial bombardment has been extremely intense, yesterday especially, but it has continued today. As you said, as you mentioned, the death toll is approaching 600 now, but that really has to be taken as a conservative death toll because, as you can imagine, it's very hard for emergency services or responders to work in the area that is being bombed. So that death toll will undoubtedly climb quite significantly by the time the emergency services can actually reach, it's safe to reach that area. We have tens of thousands of people being displaced from the south of the country, moving north as far as they can get. Many of those people come from the vast majority of those people come from Lebanon's Shiite community. And if they have connections in Beirut, the capital, which is where most of them are heading towards, those connections would quite likely live in Dahieh, which is the Shiite area, the majority Shiite area of Beirut, and also one of the areas where Hezbollah enjoys strong support, and one of the areas which is also being bombed. So the people that are arriving from the south of the country don't really have anywhere to go. They're spreading out into the city, into schools that are being turned into shelters, into hotels, into areas which traditionally in Lebanon's quite mixed and often tense sectarian makeup would not be friendly to.
The comments coming from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who says, and I'm paraphrasing him here, that Israel is not fighting with the people of Lebanon. Instead, it is fighting Hezbollah, which has been using the people of Lebanon as human shields. How is that message being received on the ground, particularly as you say, the people simply have nowhere else to go?
I think you would struggle to find a single Lebanese person who would find that message credible. Israel appears to be pursuing a two-pronged strategy whereby they perform quite surgical, quite targeted strikes against the Hezbollah leadership, as you've seen today and in previous days. And at the same time, they make the south of the country, which, as I said, is where Hezbollah enjoys a lot of support, essentially uninhabitable. They are displacing the majority of the population from that area. Most analysts agree that they are banking on that population not being able to sustain that displacement, and their will to support Hezbollah's engagement with Israel diminishing over time, and Hezbollah therefore losing support in their efforts.
Final comments. There are some observers who are saying that what Lebanon is experiencing here could be their Gaza moment. Is it that grave, you think?
I think that it might be an error to make the comparison that simple. Lebanon is not Gaza. Gaza is not Lebanon. The context is quite different. The south of Lebanon is more rural than Gaza. It's not as densely populated. Dahieh, the suburb of Beirut, is as densely populated. So if the bombing there takes the same pace as is happening in the south of the country, then yes, it will start to look something like Gaza. But in the south of Lebanon at the moment, you're seeing villages being destroyed, significant parts of villages. You're seeing forests being burned. You're seeing farmland, crops being destroyed. It's not the same topography. It's not the same political context. And although I do understand where the urge to make that comparison comes from, I don't think it's necessarily accurate.
Jacob Russell is with the Voice of America. Thank you very much for giving us this
Thank you.
update.